Secretary Blinken today noted that the Biden administration inherited a deadline but not a plan. So then why leave?
So first of all, thank you for having me, and I'll give a little bit of a pushback. I found the hearing to be contentious, certainly in places, but a lot more bipartisan than I thought it would be. I thought that there were good questions on both sides, some that were obviously pretty provocative and deliberately so, but most that were thoughtful. And I think we were all trying to get to the truth, get to reality. And I would say that it's somewhere in between the narrative that came out of the Secretary Blinken and what you described as a full-throated defense of being handed a timeline, and the narrative that comes out of the Democratic side, which is, hey, listen, this administration was handed a fully baked plan but no execution. Deadline timelines with no execution. And so there's something in between that's truth. And that's our job in terms of oversight, to be able to understand where the truth is and to be able to ask those critical questions.
Do we know if anybody said, hey, Taliban, can we get a couple more weeks here? Because we need to get our people out, whether our military is still on the ground. Could we just extend just a wee bit? Do we know if that happened?
That was actually some of the line of questioning that I asked, was trying to understand, granted that this administration inherited the Trump administration's plan, and I will give the Biden administration the fact that there were some pretty destructive things that were done in that plan in terms of negotiating with the Taliban and not including the Afghan government in their plans. But also, this administration determined that September 11th was the timeline that we were moving forward on. And this administration also determined that August 31st was the timeline that they were working towards. And so that sort of cooked the books in some sorts of ways in terms of what we were able to do and the timelines we were able to do it, because we needed to withdraw within that timeline. And so I think as a consequence, some of those decisions ended up making it harder for us to be able to get out elegantly and properly, and making it harder for us, frankly, to ask for that additional time.
Yeah. Congresswoman Houlihan, thanks. We'll be watching in the Senate tomorrow.